Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me for another video on Intro to Ammo and Basic Ballistics. My name is Joseph Marshall. It is April 23rd, 2025 at 1:37 p.m. And today we're going to be doing a few different things. We will be utilizing a bullet puller to extract the projectile out of this dummy cartridge. And then we will be using those parts to gain measurements from a micrometer and a scale in order to draw a scale model. First things first, due to the potential for flying hazards, I have some iPro on and there's no live ammunition in the workspace. So let's get started. So with the bullet puller, you have a collet. And what that collet does is it will latch on to the rim of the cartridge. And as you hit the bullet puller like a hammer, it will use the inertial force to pull the projectile from the cartridge. Let's get that tightened up real quick. You might have to hit it a couple of times, but as you can see, the rim is held by that collet and the projectile is right there and will come out. So let's get started. There it is. So that took me several times, but it's out. So with that bullet now pulled, we can go ahead and remove it. Now, had this been a live round, we would also have some powder, so you might want to get a cup or something that you can pour it into. And now we can move on to weighing it. So with the scale, the first thing you'll do is turn it on and calibrate it, and I'll show you how to do that. Now that it's zeroed, you can take your projectile and set it on there. This projectile comes out to 145.1 grain. Now that that projectile has been pulled and weighed, we can move on to using the micrometer to get super precise dimensional measurements of the cartridge or other parts. And the way to do that is the micrometer is read 0 to 1 inch. And these larger numbers, they are going to be your first decimal place, so point whatever number here. And then these increments, these upper ones are going to be 50, and these bottom ones are going to be in 25s. And that comes into this scale. This scale is 0 to 25, and those are within those 25 increments. So the third decimal place. And what you're going to do is you're going to take whatever part of the projectile that you are measuring, and you're going to put it in there and tighten it down. So just like that. And then you're going to lock it in place. So now that we have that locked into place, we are looking at being just past that first 25 increment past the 5, so 0.525. Now for the third number, we have to add whatever number you see. Now, since it's in between the 0 and the 5, it's going to be between 0 and 1. You always take the lower one. And when you take the lower one, it's 0. So you're basically not adding anything. But just for the sake of calling it, it's going to be 0.525 plus 0.000. And so we are left with a rim dimension of 0.525. Now that you know how to work the micrometer, you can go through and get the rest of your dimensions, and I will do that now. So unfortunately, this micrometer is not big enough to get the projectile length. So we are just going to estimate it at exactly an inch. We are not that far off. So now that we have those measurements, this is the scale drawing. As you can see, you have the parts labeled and the measurements all the way down from the rim to the projectile. Now, as previously stated, the micrometer was too small to measure the length of the projectile, but I put it in there right about an inch, and that's that. One of the things that I forgot to mention earlier was the missing parts of the cartridge in this case. One is the propellant. That will come out the same way automatically when you're using the bullet puller. The second is going to be the primer. Now the primer, you'll use what's called a universal decapping die, and as you press down on the of the cartridge onto the universal decapping die, it will send its pin through the flash hole and punch the primer out the top. So those are the two missing parts and how you would remove them. Once again, thank you to each and every one of you that are still watching this video. If you would like to know anything more in depth, want me to go deeper into a topic, please let me know in the comments. You can also like and subscribe. Really helps out a bunch. Thanks.